Good afternoon, everyone, and welcome to my office, where I have finally finished the book, the official WTBA Grading Syllabus book. I'm sure you've already seen an announcement about this on social media, but there's a few things I'd like to tell you about in person in this little video to make sure you're aware of. The primary one of which is that this book's not just for grading. Grading is, for most people, the best way to stay focused and make sure you're progressing in the right way, training the right things and so on. But some people don't like the concept of grading. So if you're one of these people who don't like the concept of grading, you will still want this book. Okay, it's not just a grading book, it is a syllabus book. That is assuming you're training the old Montague system of Taiji, Bagua, or the whole package of Fa Jing Chuan. The most important thing in your training to get good at anything is consistency in the foundations, the primary training of any given style. Rather than training 500 different forms and training methods, you need to focus on the foundations. When I say foundations, I don't mean basics. I mean, of course, you've got to learn basics as well, but foundations mean all the most important things that you need to train all the way from the beginning, right the way up to master that system you want to practice. You need to focus around 90% of your time on these foundations. You can leave the other 10% open to train other things, other methods, just to have a bit of fun, play around with this, play around with that, just to change things up every now and again. That's not to say that the methods which have been left out of this syllabus are not good training. They're all good training. But there have always been, within our system, primary training methods and secondary training methods. The must-haves, the things you must train in order to understand this system. And then some other forms and training methods which you can choose to train if you so wish. But it's never really been made that clear which ones are which, unless you've had a personal conversation with me or Dad or something like that. As far as in the books and the videos and so on, it's never been made abundantly clear as to which ones are the primary focus that you should be training. It's kind of like that old saying, I don't fear the person who has trained 10,000 techniques once. I fear the person who's trained one technique 10,000 times. Now, obviously, that saying is an exaggeration. Training literally one technique, no matter how much you practice it, you're not going to know how to fight. You need more than one technique. But you get the idea behind it. Less is more to a point. Now, keep in mind, there's nothing wrong with training a system like this, or any system, just for fun, for socializing, for enjoyment, for a bit of fitness. If that's your take on why you're practicing with us or any other system you're practicing, then that's fine. You get a lot of enjoyment out of it. You don't have to take everything seriously in your life. So long as you understand that that approach to training is not realistically ever going to get you anywhere, apart from, as I say, a little bit of fitness training and things like that. You're not going to learn how to fight if you do a bit of this, bit of that, and don't take things seriously. If you are serious, though, and you want to genuinely get good at this stuff, you want to learn how to fight, how to protect your family. You want to learn and understand the deeper internal healing methods within this system. Perhaps one day teach for the WTBA, teaching this system. You're of course going to need to know what you need to focus on and when in your training should you be focusing on those things. Well, that's why I've written this book. Okay? This will list down all of that 90% stuff, the foundations. Everything you should be focusing on and when to be focusing on it throughout your training journey, from the beginning, from your first student class, all the way up to your first instructor's degree. After that, I'm going to be writing a second book, and that will cover everything from grade 2 instructor rank all the way up to the highest levels. So if you get one of these books and you look through it and think, well, hang on, he said this was the foundation, the most important stuff, but he hasn't included double push hands. Well, double push hands is not started to train until you become an instructor. This takes you to the point of becoming a grade 1 instructor. At that point, you start training double push hands. Sure, you might play around with it before that, of course, as most people do at workshops and so on. Nothing wrong with that at all. But it's not going to be part of your grading. It's not officially in the grading syllabus until you start working towards your grade 2. So, of course, that would be included in the next book. I've been working on this book for a few years now, writing it, rewriting it, going over it to make sure it is absolutely correct. Making sure that everything you need to be included in this book is in this book, so that you can be sure that if you follow what's in this book, you will get to that level. You won't be missing out on anything. Current WTBA instructors and allied WTBA members get this book free of charge. You just have to let me know and I'll send you out a copy. Everyone else only pays £10 for it, and that's just to cover the cost of printing the thing and the postage. So this is not a profit-making thing. It is purely designed to help you to focus and progress through this system. Also, over the next couple of years, I'm going to be putting out a new video series focusing in specifically on what is in this book. An up-to-date, step-by-step video series taking you through the entire system of Fa Jing Chuan. The last thing I'd just like to mention is for current WTBA instructors, do you need this book? Yes, if you're still currently teaching for the WTBA and you plan to keep teaching for the WTBA, you will need a copy of this to stay up to date with the current teaching methods and to make sure you're not confusing your own students. Obviously though, the actual stuff in it should be similar, very, very similar to what you've already trained if you're already an instructor. So don't feel like, oh, I've got to repeat my entire training again. No, it's not going to be like that. Unless you've let your training really slip and you're kind of not really at instructor level anymore, if you've not been training a lot or something like that. If you're still at a good instructor level, it should just be a matter of going, oh, okay, so I've got to do this, this, and this, boom, just tick a few boxes and you'll be able to upgrade your current degree to the new program. No need to speak too much about that in detail here though, because I will be sending out an email to all the instructors with details about that side of things. However, if you are watching this video and you don't get an email from me, or you haven't already got an email from me, yeah, do get in touch, because maybe your email went to spam or it got lost or something. So do get in touch if you haven't had that email regarding this book from me. I'll just finish off by saying that my father, Earl, it was his last request to his instructors around the world. He requested this in 2008. He sent out them all an email about this. So if you're an instructor, if you were an instructor back then, you should have got this email from him back in 2008. That was that all the instructors need to come together more regularly and make sure that everyone is teaching a unified syllabus to best serve the WTBA students, making sure that one person's not teaching something different from another and the students coming saying, hang on, he taught me that, but he's telling me this, and getting confused. That is the most annoying thing for a student, when two people are telling them something different. So it was my father's request to all the instructors to bring everyone together, make sure everyone is teaching students the same stuff. Unfortunately, of course, this was very close to his death, so he never got a chance to fully implement this. He started the ball in progress. It's taken me till now to get this together and put it all together for everyone. This doesn't mean you can't teach in your own way. We don't want to make the schools kind of robotic and everyone teaches exactly in the same manner. That's not what we want. We want individuality from all of our instructors. So long as your way of teaching, what you're showing and so on, is not so far away from the unified syllabus that it's going to confuse the student. That's what we don't want. We don't want students coming to me and saying, well, hang on, John down the road taught me this, but now you're telling me that. That's what we don't want. We want everyone to be, close enough that the student can properly learn without getting confused. The main thing is that whatever you are teaching, whatever parts of our system that you choose to teach, maybe you focus only on form or form and push hands, or teach the whole system. That's up to you what you teach to your students. But so long as whatever part of our system that you are teaching, you're teaching it correctly. You're not making any mistakes in what you're teaching. Your students, at least the serious ones, they will most likely be also training with me, whether they're coming to my camps or following my online classes or just buying these new videos that are going to link up with this book. So for that reason, current instructors will be sent free of charge the new videos that link up to this book to make sure there's no confusion between students and instructors. So if you would like one of these books to solidify your training into a nice little package, please get in touch. And as I say, if you're not an allied member or not an instructor, you can purchase it off the website. It'll be sent out to you. If you are an instructor or an allied member, just send me your address, your postal address, and I'll chuck one of these in the mail. Actually, technically speaking, my wife will chuck one of these in the mail for you. Yeah, you should have it quite soon. If you have any questions, please leave them in the comments, and I will do my best to answer those as quickly as possible. Or if it's something a bit more personal, feel free to shoot me an email, and I'll write back to you there as well. Good stuff, guys. See you soon.